Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. Yesterday we had the most amazing thing, as we had mentioned. Corky talked, and she's a hypnotherapist and specializes in what she calls EBERT, and that's Earthbound Entity Releasement Technique. And there's about 5 people here that she worked on and got rid of things that were keeping them back in life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, go ahead. And it was very interesting, and a lot of things were learned about each other, not just about good morning, not just about ourselves, but each other and the depth that we have in these people and the things that they've been going through, and that be able to release things and move forward, which to me is the biggest gift you can have, is to let go of something that's keeping you behind. So, Corky, I want to thank you very much for the class. It was
Everybody who participated, you all made the class, because where would it have been? It would have been me just like, right. And then the next thing that happened.
And we want to say happy birthday to the Reverend Janet Childs. Happy birthday! And anybody else have a birthday today or this week? Okay, well, are you ready? This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Happy birthday, happy birthday. And that's going to go over my hat. She promised. If not, we're going to have a...
Yay! Purple is Dottie's favorite color.
Yes, thank you so much. And these are some I gave her last year. Right. And now, you got some last week? Would you like another strand of?
No.
Oh, you've got enough beads right now. Thank you so much. Anybody have any announcements today?
Oh yes, there's this Tuesday night in your program you'll see Chin Lee On is going to be speaking about something that is very interesting. It's a frequency healing, and it's a thing we don't know how to pronounce the real name of
Solfachink or something like that. Yeah,
that's right.
But it's something we've never heard of, and we've been around for a while. All right, so I really recommend that you the Zoom. You go to the
u-c-m.org.
Or it's on the meetup, or you can call me and I'll give you the link and stuff. But anyway, the deal is you need to register so that you can get the link to the class, and I highly recommend it. I mean, it's something that I think you'll be interested in hearing.
And there's a $10 donation if you don't have it. That's okay. But
so that's this Tuesday, 6 to 8
p.m.
p.m.
Oh, good.
Pacific,
we don't have to get up early.
Pacific time.
What are you doing with a little bag in your hand?
This is my purse.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Got it from the Kaiser Octotominal, the eye people.
Well, good.
I like orange,
Yeah.
and it just fits.
Well, this morning we're going to start with a meditation. And if Janet comes up, and here she is, we make her work on her birthday.
Oh man, we are meanies.
We're mean, and so I want to thank you all for being at the Center for Creative Living. It's such a gift to see your smiling faces. Thank you so very much. And what we're doing right now is we're going to be having our ministerial students speak. So I don't want to put Donna on the spot yet, but she's going to be talking this morning, and so we're so glad to have her here. I'd like you all to take a nice deep breath. Close your eyes. Put your feet flat on the floor. And as you do, realize the Creator is all around us. like the air we breathe. And so every time your body is feeling less than, your mind is confused, or your spirit feels down, realize that there is this energy all around you. And some of you may call it Creator, God, Jehovah, Allah, whatever you call that spirit. You are welcome to join us, because we know that the Creator loves all of their children. And so right now, I want you to feel that. Feel that energy that is vibrating around you. And let's start that vibrations with the bottom of your feet. And start feeling a little bit of a tingle that is God's energy. And as you feel that energy, bring it up your legs. And as you slowly let that energy rise, feel it as it gets to your kneecaps. And all of a sudden your legs, they feel a lot better, having God's energy right there, vibrating your body. And then bring that energy up your thighs and your hips. Bring that energy all the way up to your waist. And right now, it's like you're sitting there with God's energy surrounding you and the chair. Now take another deep breath. Let's just breathe in. And then exhale. And you feel so much better. And now bring that energy up further and up through your chest, through your shoulders, through your neck, through your face, all the way up to the top of your head, so that everything about you is covered in God's energy. And as you go out today, go out shining, so that everybody who sees you will know that you acknowledge Creator, and you let that Creator's energy shine through you. For many of you, you were feeling God's energy when you were young. You might have been going to Sunday school. You might have been going to temple or synagogue. But you knew the Creator was around you, and somehow, as an adult, you'd forgotten. So today, let's get back into that energy of you as a child, where you walk out in the sunshine and you know that God is right there with you, because that's what's happening today and for the rest of your life. So as you meet people, don't be surprised if today when you talk to somebody they'll say, "You look good," or "You look different," or "You look shiny," because that's what's happening when you are reflecting back God's energy. And now I'm going to let our Reverend Janet Childs do something with that.
Oh, from the bottom of my feet, I touch the earth and I am free. It is moving in me. I open my heart and I see all that is here before me. And I open up my heart and fly free. Fly, fly, fly on the wings of the angels, wings of the goddess, wings of Creator. Bring me home. All I am is this moment, and what I share my life. Let it shine bright. Every trial and every trauma I have lived through is washed clean in the healing waters of love. Oh, I can fly, fly, fly. I can dance on the edge of my womb, and I can know I am whole. Oh, Creator, move within me. I know that this spirit energy is who I am. Bring it home, let me know it, let me feel it in every cell, and in my bones I am free. Oh, Creator, like a river you flow, and I am dancing on the waves of your love. Every moment and every day, you gently show me the way. Back home, we are free, we are strong, we are singing, singing our life. Ooh, coming home, we are dancing, we are free in the light. Oh, light shine, love grow. We are here and we are one. Light shine, love grow. We are here and we are whole. Ooh, light shine, love grow. We are here and we are whole. Light shine, love grow. We are here and we are whole. And just feel that energy and feel Creator's light shining all around us. And know that each one of you is a child of God. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and come back. When you mentioned Goddess, I am so excited about what's happening this week. June 15th is our wonderful Reverend Lucier. And what is happening is when April was doing this talk before, I got so excited about learning more about the goddess, because that was one of the first religions that honored Creator, only in a female form. And so many of us were raised with the goddess energy had to be masculine.
And when April is going to be giving our talk, you're going to be amazed at what was going on from the very beginning of time with the female God. And this is going to be, she's going to give the lecture over at the Universal Church of the Master, and it starts at 7 o'clock. Boy, I was going to get you all there early in the parking lot, I guess. And so just know that this is going to be a fantastic talk, and I want you to come because she's going to bring some goddess figures so you can actually handle the energy that's in those figures of the goddess. So please, if you don't know where the UCM office is, ask somebody and they'll give you directions, and the directions are here on your program. So please join us there. We would so appreciate it. And while I'm talking, look what's being brought in, all this wonderful food. And thank you, Gabrielle.
Yes.
And Gabrielle is bringing in food for us. It's free. All you have to do is pick it up off the table as you're leaving. And please do. Sometimes there's something we get here we've never tried before. We had some of the wonderful peppers that they brought, and we put them in eggs, and they were delicious. So you'll try new things and say, hey, there's some food that something I hadn't tried before. It feels really good. And Gabrielle, are you still here?
Yeah, she's in there.
Gabrielle?
She can hear you.
Okay, we'll talk to her later.
There she is.
Hey, Gabrielle!
Gabrielle.
Hey, Gabrielle, anything exciting happening for Pride Month?
Well,
So many, but
not here, where?
This is the head of
Hey,
Billy DeFrank.
yeah.
Right here. So what's going on?
The easiest way, hi, I'm Gabrielle
Hey, Gabrielle.
Antolovich. I always like people to know I'm a first generation Yugoslavian.
Yay.
Yeah. Anyway, June is Pride Month, and there are a lot of events. One of the easiest ways to find out what's happening is to sign up for the Billy DeFrank newsletter.
Yes.
Yeah, and how you do that is go to defrank.org, defrank.org, and on the right hand, I'm going to create a jingle out of this. And on the right hand column it says sign up for e-newsletter, and we have an incredible IT guy that people cannot steal your email, and we never give it out. So ha. The other way you can do it is you can sign up here and I'll enter your email. But that is one way to do it. But the other way is just keep coming to the Billy DeFrank Center. We have Rainbow Bingo, which is a lot of fun. How many of you go to that?
Oh,
Yay! Yes. And Juneteenth is also on the 17th of June. And as you know, all minorities have something in common. The same people hate all of us. I know, it sounds funny, but it is very true. And that's why we have to be so intersectional, and which means we have to love each other. I mean, Billy DeFrank was an African-American drag queen who is our namesake. Right. And a ginormous mural on the outside of the building, and you can't miss it. Anyway, yeah, so Pride is being celebrated all over the place, but Silicon Valley Pride, our Pride here in the Valley, is the last weekend in August. Right. So you get to have 2 Pride months.
Thank you.
Reverend Dottie,
Yes.
I know that Pride is happening in Sacramento.
Go.
Pride is happening in Sacramento today, and our beloved Ronnie is going to be a part of it. So I'd like to send protection and energy to all people that are celebrating any kind of Pride event that is outside, so that we can protect them and surround them with love, healing, strength, and courage, and know that they are protected and held in
Great
the light.
idea.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yes. Yeah.
Just keep that light lit.
And know that there's a lot of people here who when I say here, in the world, who have felt prejudice because they choose to love somebody that maybe the next door neighbor doesn't think is a good idea. So we want to let the world know our voice of we're all God's children. And so just keep saying that. If somebody says, well, they did, and I have found this stops people. When somebody's complaining about what the neighbor did, I said, have you ever thought that neighbor is one of God's children? And they look at me like, that can't be true. That jerk can't be one of God's children. Oh, yes, he can. Or she can, yes. So when you get that in your heart, you find it's real easy to say. It's real easy to come back with. Anybody else have anything else to say before I introduce our speaker today? Well,
Joan does.
what?
Joan does.
Okay.
She's very succinct. 3 words. Hi from London.
Hi. Oh, I love that. Joan Stutz, Reverend Joan Stutz is in London and was able to,
Log in.
yeah. When we were over there, we couldn't figure out how to operate anything to get back.
How do you plug stuff in? They don't have the right plugs.
So I'm glad she figured that out. Our speaker today is one of our UCM ministerial students, and Donna Fischer has an excellent story to tell about synchronicity and her journey and how she found Center for Creative Living. And also, this is the first time she's spoken here, so be gentle, okay?
Yay!
Please welcome Donna. Come on in. And I'm going to be sitting right here behind you, so if anything
What a
happens,
beautiful dress.
You can
Oh my God.
Have you fallen asleep or anything?
Wake up.
Like that's what happened, right?
Really. So my name is Donna Fischer.
Hi, Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Hello. And this journey to CCL is 66 years to get here.
Welcome. Glad you made it.
So most of those years, I have worked as a registered nurse. 46 years, I'm still working. Majority of the years were at the bedside, ICU mostly, oncology. And the last 8 years were supervision.
Wow.
So currently I describe my job description as I'm basically a referee.
That's right. No,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I am.
100%.
And air traffic controller. That's what I do. Right? My spiritual journey history. My mother was Lutheran but not practicing. My stepfather was Catholic but never practiced. So when I was a child, I went to Southern Baptist summer
Oh,
camp.
right. Yeah.
A lot of hell, fire, and brimstone.
Yes.
Well, I was afraid for my parents. And of course, I put my little name in the basket. And they came knocking at the door one weekend.
Oh, boy.
And very quickly, I learned not to bring any topics up to my parents on spiritual nature.
Wow.
So that kind of just set the tone for staying in the shadow.
Wow.
But of course, coming from sort of a alcoholic family of origin, I learned to be an invisible child,
Yeah.
right? So as soon as I could, I got a job. And while I was in high school, I worked 3 to 11 shift at a nursing home and eventually a hospital before I went away to college. And of course, I faced death at the age of 17 with a lot of clients. So I started questioning. And in college, I sought more spiritual avenues, and I started attending a Bible study. And at the same time, I met a certain fellow by the name of Kevin.
Uh-oh.
And
your eyes twinkle when you say
yeah,
his
I
name.
know. Which is kind of interesting. So So he was raised Catholic. And so I would start going to Mass with him, reluctantly, but I did go. And then he would started, I'm sure out of obligation, going to my Bible study with me. So that's where that sort of started. So the definition of synchronicity, first introduced by Carl Jung, simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly related to, but have no discernible causal connection. So when I was 13 years of age, my father moved us 80 miles east to a trailer park. We moved the trailer home to a trailer park in Fairview, which is in outskirts of Portland, Oregon. And unbeknownst to me, Kevin's great-grandmother lived there.
Wow.
While we were there.
Synchronicity.
It's kind of weird. And my mother and stepfather were introduced by a couple that were also friends of his parents. We never knew that either, so that was kind of odd. And this was Portland. It was a big, a big city. It wasn't a small community by any means. So my father worked construction, and we moved there for 9 months, and my mother was pretty miserable, so we moved back to the Dalles, which is 80 miles east of Portland on the Columbia River Gorge.
Beautiful.
And I finished high school there. And his father actually delivered newspapers up the river every day. And so he would work on weekends and holidays delivering those newspapers. And that was less than 5 miles from where I lived. So, just weird. It's just weird. So he went to college at Oregon Institute of Technology. That's 300 miles south. It's kind of the border between Oregon and California. I applied to nursing programs. I applied to 2 schools. One didn't accept me, one did. Which one accepted me? OIT.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so weird, huh?
There it is.
Wow.
Yeah. So being that I came from a family of origin that was fairly toxic, I basically, and my childhood friend, his mother, always said, Donna, you said you'd never get married, you'd never have children, which I did. I said, I'll never get married, I'll never have children. And then, of course, I met Kevin. So my life motto is now, never say never. And then when we went to the priest, because we thought out of just respect for his family, we would have a double service, right? We would have a priest and our Baptist minister that we went to Bible study with. Well, then we met the priest, and I was a heathen because I couldn't couldn't prove my baptism. Couldn't prove my baptism.
Very few churches they rave for you, but
this church celebrates me. So, and Kevin didn't have his paperwork in order either, so we were kind of in trouble there. So we sort of had a dark night of the soul during that, and I did have a conversation. I remember in tears, just like, I guess you have to choose. You have to choose me or the church. Well, so.
What happened?
Well, yeah. Well, I can just tell you, 2 daughters, 3 granddaughters later, we just celebrated 46 years.
Yay! Congratulations! Good choice.
Crazy. So it's been quite the experience. I had some pre-birth memories that I never would ever discuss with anyone except for Kevin, because it wasn't safe to do so in my family, But I had memories before I was born, and I also had a distinct impression that I chose my family to be born to. But where can you go with that in my era, right? So here, you can come here.
Yes.
That's where you can. So while busy with life, work, raising kids, I sometimes felt Christians weren't particularly showing by action what Jesus would do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sort of lacking, you know, I always felt there was some lacking. Joan shared some timelines in her astrology class, and 60 kind of rang a bell. And that was about the time that I took a trip. I took a trip to Lilydale, New York.
Oh my gosh.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Wow.
So that was about when I was 60. So Lilydale was started in 1873. It's the largest spiritualist community in the world. It started as a summer camp and now has 169 leaseholders and 270 mediums, surrounded by 144 acres of old-growth forest adjacent to Casadega Lakes region in upstate New York.
Wow.
If you ever get an opportunity, you will know you're home just standing on the grounds. You feel it, just like I feel when I come to CCL. It's a long road trip, but it's definitely, you feel it. There's also a documentary on HBO called No One Dies in Lilydale, if you ever get an opportunity to watch that.
Thank you.
The Fox Sisters, that was in 1848. One of our books mentions the Fox Sisters.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so Lilydale brought, I think, part of their house there. And then Susan B. Anthony spoke there more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And so when this is my coming out process after Lilydale. After the first trip, I came home very changed. I kept my tarot cards and my dowsing rods very hidden. And I prepared myself to tell Kevin my truth as who I was. And I had to be ready for what life might become, not knowing if he could ever accept my truth. I didn't quite know if he could ever quite go there. And I had to look at my life of 40 years then, you know, what would it look like? But I had to be true to myself. So after my sit down with him, not knowing how things might go, his words were not, "You go your way, I can't stay married to you." They were, "You are who you've always been."
Oh.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Well done, Kevin.
Yay, Kevin!
Wow.
He helps me see myself through the Creator's eyes,
Wow. Oh.
with unconditional love and acceptance.
Yes.
And I think that's my message for all of us. If you could see who you are through your Creator's eyes. So here I am exploring who I've been, and I've been it all, I believe. I've been male, I've been female, I've been different ethnicities, different faiths. All have played a part of who I am now and who I am yet to become. And that's what
And now, but what else have you become? You've become a spiritual minister. Is that what you're working on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things at Lilydale that I saw on their wall, it was the 9 principles of the National Spiritualist Association of Churches, and I'd like to read that to you.
Yeah.
Because this is when I knew that I knew that I knew. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expressions of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact, scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We affirm the moral responsibility of individuals and that we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway of reformation is never closed against any soul here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing are divine attributes proven through mediumship. And that's what I saw on Lily Dale, and I was forever changed.
That sounds like the truth to me.
It was amazing. So, and of course, how I found CCL was through Tamara Bell. I used to work with her.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when you came to the first conference, conference. You did a great job with the sound option. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's kind of my journey to this wonderful institution.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Mary, you had a question?
Have you had some amazing experiences with people who were passing?
Yes, I have. So interesting, as you should mention that, because it's interesting how I kind of look at people's date of death and numbers and things, and I noticed that there's their month of birth tends to coincide with their month of death within like 3 months. It's, you know, irrespective to the year, but it's kind of just something I've noticed over the course of 46 years. I also have personal experience of my daughter had her mother in my ICU, and she had no blood pressure, and she was going to pass. But she held on until her daughter could get there. Now all 3 family members were in the room, but she held on until that daughter arrived, and then she chose to leave. Other people choose to leave when everyone leaves the room because they know how hard it will be for their loved ones.
That's right. Can I share just a really short story?
Sure.
I know Tamara, she used to go to my awareness network, but she shared an experience with me that she was sitting with a friend just before passing, and she said, "Please take me with you so I can see what's on the other side." And her friend, before she said, "I will." And so when she was about to pass, both her and Tamara's spirit went to the other side, and she could feel her. She said, "We have like, what, 4 or 5 senses, whatever." She said, "When you're in the other world, you have infinite number of senses. You're more alive when you pass to the other side than when you're here, because we're limited by our finite senses." And she said it was absolutely wonderful. She almost didn't want to go back, but she knew she had to, so she went and came back. But Tamara shared that with me. That's why I shared it, because you were speaking.
Absolutely, yes.
About
Yeah.
passing.
Well, thank you, because I think I also had, when I was mentioning that I had before birth memories, I saw colors that aren't I saw more colors than on our spectrum. I can't describe them. I can just tell you there were more than what we can see in our human form. There were more, and you could taste color.
Yeah.
Now, where would I get that idea? No one ever told me that.
She said she felt more alive on the other side than on this side, which was pretty amazing to
Yeah.
kind of bring that experience back with her.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And as you look at your life, you have more life, of course, if you get older like me, not Dottie me, but you start to look at the intersecting lives that Kevin and I, we quilt. And fabric, we all are intertwined. So intertwined. And you get more of a bird's eye view of how intertwined everyone truly becomes. So, And I think of death as just,
The next grade.
we've done it before, we'll do it again. That's just how I feel. That's my truth. And,
Ruth, did you have a question?
Oh my goodness. I just had a thought about, smelling colors. My thought was, haven't you ever eaten a carrot and go, it tastes orange?
Yeah.
And I would imagine it's the same sort of thing. So and there are people who have synesthesia who can kind of, they match things. They have those sorts of associations that normal people don't. So, it makes sense to me.
Well, I think that's the name of a book. I'm writing it down, The Taste of Color.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Donna. I'm new here. But I just want to validate what you said about the colors being on the other side. For my work, I'm a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner, so past life regression, and so many of my clients, when they're in the regression, go to the other side and it's just colors. And they can't describe it because it's just, the colors are alive, they're healing, they do say they see things that aren't on our color spectrum, and then, I usher them through that liminal space, but yeah, that definitely is within my experience, and I just want to validate that for you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then I would like to also let you know that, have I seen miracles? Yes, I have. One day we had a nurse that was brought to the ICU that was receiving an injection in the doctor's office, and she had an anaphylactic reaction.
Oh, wow.
So we took care of her about 2 months.
Wow.
She survived it.
Wow.
But it was tough, and it was over Christmas.
Oh.
So for that particular Christmas, we adopted her family, and so we bought the children all presents. We had a party. We had carolers come in, and we gave a Christmas celebration to her family. She survived. She went to rehabilitation. She came back a year later. She did not remember us, but she's back to work.
Wow.
She was one living example of a miracle that I did actually see. And I have a picture of her on my refrigerator. I also have experience of my granddaughter who was supposed to be born on January 1st, was born the September before.
Oh my
She weighed 1.6 pounds. She was on the ventilator, went home on a ventilator. She's now 7 years old.
Wow.
So miracles are all around us.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, through the experience of the Ebert training, someone made mention of an Auschwitz, going to the Auschwitz. One of my first experiences was talking a resident out of the closet who had a terrible nightmare because she survived Auschwitz.
Wow.
So I guess my message to you with that is, we're all human books. Share your story because you are the light.
Wow.
Yes. Well, thank you so very much. Very good. Thank you.
Wow.
And a hug and a kiss too.
I'm sorry I didn't ask permission. I think you always have permission to hug and kiss.
And that brings up something we haven't mentioned here at this location. If somebody comes in to give you a hug and you're not a hugger, just say thank you. This is kind of a thank you, and they'll realize you're not particularly the type that hugs. I love hugs. To me, that's the greatest gift anybody can give, Please don't give me any chalk keys to take home for any brother. Just give me hugs. Those are so wonderful. But there are people who, for some reason, have been either
hurt physically, mentally, or emotionally by somebody who hugged them too much.
Yeah.
So they just don't particularly want to be hugged.
Or medically compromised.
Or medically compromised, yes. Thank you, April, for mentioning that. That's true. Okay. One of the things I want to talk about is anybody who wants to give a talk, please see Corky. She's the one in charge of getting your information and your topic and your picture. And so she will set you up because
I'll set you up.
you're going to set them up. Because one of the gifts that you have is your story. I mean, the story that we heard today was so amazing because of the synchronicity in her life. So many things happened along the way. And when she was talking about being there when somebody died, this is the time of year I always think of my friend Byron Floyd. And Byron and I were the kind of people, he was this very gorgeous, slender black man. And he was so fastidious and always dressed to the T. And then there was me. And we were buddies. And it was kind of like, where's Byron if I'd walk through the door anywhere? Because he and I just hung out together. We worked together at Lockheed. And we got to be so close. And so he was dying and in Kaiser Hospital of AIDS. And I was there. In fact, there were 5 ministers that came in to be there when Byron was dying. And were you there, Janet? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so his partner, Jean, came and said, Dottie, Byron would like you there. And I said, okay. So I walked back. And he's laying there, and they were giving him morphine for the pain. And he said, I hate to leave, but I really got to go to the John. And I said, go on, I'm here. And at that moment, his mother walked in. His mother had denied him for 7 years because he was gay. Refused to talk to him, refused to have anything to do with him. And she walked in and she sat down. So I was at one side and she was at the other. And all of a sudden his breathing got so labored. And I realized it was time. And I said to him, Byron, he loved really nice looking sweaters. I said, Byron, I want you to see yourself in a sweater, your favorite. And here comes a school bus. And they're going to take you to big school. Yeah. So I want you to see yourself climbing on the bus, come all the way back to that big window on the back and wave at me. Because I know you're going to be on your way. And it went beep. And then his husband walked back in, Jean walked back in and said, I missed it. And I said, no, you didn't, you felt it. And he said, I did. He said, when I came back to this room, I knew he wouldn't be here when I got here. So we had all those miracles. But to me, the saddest thing was not his dying. It was his mother who was weeping uncontrollably because she'd missed 7 years of her life with her son. So when you think about, for me, that's why, the gay pride is I talk to every mother that comes to see me and says, what do I do about my gay child? And I say, love them. That's just what you do with any child. I don't care whether it's a child who's not succeeding or a child who has a drug addiction, whatever, love them. You can't change them, but you can love them. I don't want any more moms to come in hysterical because their child's dying and they haven't been able to see him. It just doesn't feel fair. Okay. Well, there she is. Welcome. So glad to have you here.
Okay, from another church.
I mean, this is a double dipper. You know? Dr. Ayleen, I'm so glad to see you. And our volunteer for today, I don't know if you saw this very nice looking young man, his name is Augustine.
Thank you, Augustine.
Thank you, Augustine. I don't know where he went, but he was here when we came in this morning, and I was that's great as a first name. So One of the other things that I want to talk about is when you start looking at I don't know why I got one that was a little bit torn off, but anyway, when you start looking at your program, does everybody have a program? Mm-hmm. If you don't, please pick one up. You're going to see that I'm going to be talking about dads next week. And please, if you have a picture of your father that you would like to bring and put on the altar, please do. Okay, we want to honor, so often we honor moms, but we forget that if it wasn't for Dad, we wouldn't be here. Or maybe Dad wasn't the best father in the world, but he was your father. So we'll just honor him, okay? And so bring pictures, we'll put them up on the altar, and we're going to be talking about Father's Day. And if you have any wonderful story about your dad, bring it in. Okay, we'd love to have you do that. Okay, then now this is a time that we're going to pass the basket. And for those of you who haven't, what?
Yeah. The prayer, I put on the thing that she's going to be doing the closing prayer.
Oh, well, that's fine. I just didn't know what the traffic thing was about. So turn your, look at your program.
Second base.
I thought it was. You were going to steal second base. So look at the back of your program, the sacrament of giving. Giving to the ministry from which I receive my spiritual support and nurturing is an affirmation and consciousness of the truth that Spirit is the prospering power, enriching every area of my life. And as you if you don't have anything to put in the basket, think about this. You have your love and blessing. So just put your hand over the basket and just bless it. Because that's what we need, is your love, is the best thing that you could possibly get.
Sounds like a song.
Are there any messages on the Zoom?
Pardon?
Did anybody leave any messages on Zoom? Really?
Well, let's see. You want them all, or you just want them?
Yeah, bring them
All
in.
of them, okay. Chenley, good morning and blessings to everyone. Her again, happy birthday, dear Janet, big hug.
Oh.
And then, let's see. Joan, we talked about, she's still probably high in London or saying hi in London.
Oh, that's better than being high in London. Or maybe not, I don't know.
This is Joan. She lives big. Patty and Joyce, that was such a beautiful song. Thank you, Janet. And thank you, Dottie, for the beautiful meditation. Perfect message to hear on this day. Hi to Joan. Jen Lee, thank you, Dottie and Janet. Hello, Joan. Patty and Joyce, what a lovely talk. Thank you so much. Let's see. From Joan, thanks for mentioning the 9 principles. Again, Joan, great talk. Loved your nursing experiences. Chen Lee, thank you for sharing your story and like Donna. Patty and Joyce, really great talk. Wonderful stories and sharing.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you. That was great. Well, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank them for all of that. That was great. Okay, are you ready for the closing prayer? Reverend Dr. Ayleen Augustine. Yay, Dr. Ayleen. So I'm going to be able to move over here in just a minute. This is one of those mornings when you'll hear my knee going.
Oh, no problem. Good morning, everyone. And yes, I do come creeping in at the last minute because there's a church service over in Campbell that goes from 10 to 11. And for the entire month of June, they commissioned me to be their head pastor and serve all of their church services. So it is interesting. I want to wish everybody a happy National Children's Day.
Yay!
So in celebrating either, any child around you, any child in your life, as well as the child inside of you, because we need to pay attention. That's the child we need to pay attention to most, to remind that child that it's doing great, that it's loved, that you're proud of it, that you love it, that you trust it, that you believe in it, and that its best is good enough. And sometimes we forget that child, but it's always wonderful when we get reminders, as well as when we get reminders that life is like a circle, it's like a spiral, it completely moves. This was gifted to me at a point when I absolutely needed it most. I'm grateful to you, my friend. Thank you so much. A lot of things changed because of that. So, in trusting in the flow, trusting that life is truly the childhood of our immortality, trusting that we have a loving, adoring parent who cares for us, who believes in us, and who is constantly there and would never leave us alone. Dear, blessed, and wonderful Creator, we thank you for this day and we thank you for our lives. We thank you for all the blessings you give in each and every moment and with each and every breath. We thank you for the blessing of community. We thank you for allowing us to learn that level of love that you embrace and allowing us to be able to see it in one another. We thank you for teaching us the difference between love and overindulgence, because you're the one who shows us that sometimes when you love something or someone the most, you have to say no. You have to be willing to walk away so that you both can grow. Creator, thank you for blessing us with the knowledge that we always, always, always have you. And together we've got this. That we are all your favorite child. And that's how you look at each and every one of us. Thank you for the blessing of all of those who commit their lives to service of others, who take care of others, especially in those final moments, as they release one reality for another, and as they flow into your waiting arms. Creator, we thank you for all those who hold that space with dignity and respect. Creator, thank you for all the blessings you give and all the blessings you are. And as we move through this day and this week, we thank you for always being there right beside us, to guide, to love, to laugh, to celebrate, to grieve, and just to be that wonderful, loving parent that you are. Creator, thank you. And whatever it means to you, we hope you have a wonderful day. For all your creation to the next 7 generations and beyond. Aho Matako Yasin, ago, ago, ago. By earth, sea, and sky. Namaste, shalom, assalamu alaikum. Blessed be, and amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm getting signals from Corky here, and I'm not too sure what this is all about. I think she'll return. Yeah.
We have a card for Janet.
We'd like you to sign it, please.
Please sign the card for Janet.
Oh, yeah.
Janet.
And it's a big card, so you can turn it on the back and sign it too, so she can take all of your love home with her.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
Good job, Courtney.
It was a surprise for a while.
You didn't hear that.
I didn't hear.
We have coffee in the kitchen. We have food for you to pick up. We have people for you to meet. And so if you haven't been here for a while, you might see some faces you hadn't recognized. Please go up and give people your name and get theirs. And do you know what you've got to do? This is Dottie telling you what to have to do. Remember the new names you hear today.
Yes.
There's nothing more. I know. I bet if I said, that some famous movie star was going to be having some kind of lessons going on, you'd all remember the name, right? Why do you remember it? Because you wanted to. So what I want you to do is make it important to you to remember people's names. Okay? That's your what would that be? Homework. Only it's church work. Okay? Thank you so very much and have a wonderful day. Thank you.